Good afternoon, friends. I'm Elizabeth Beelman, and welcome back to Unearthing Shadows Light. So we have made it through Mercury Retrograde. It ends today. Might have noticed a lot of delays when it comes to electronics or miscommunications, like you're telling someone something or you're trying to explain yourself and they're taking it the complete opposite way of what you're talking about, and it can stem a lot of just general aggravations. Like, for instance, yesterday I made 2 videos, one of them being like 25 minutes long, and then they were deleted. I didn't delete them. My phone went on the fritz and decided to do it. So I'm doing this from a laptop. Sorry if I'm a bit more grainy here. Let's see what else. We have the new moon in Aquarius, and that is on the 21st. And that is this time right now gearing up to that, because the energy is 3 days before and 3 days after. Gearing up for that, we're looking at some really awesome time for manifestation. So now would be the time to start planting the seeds and cultivating what it is you're trying to bring through for the future. So I do, in the collective and in people close to me, including myself, like new jobs. Guys, the old paradigm is shifting out. This whole 9-to-5 business is kind of falling away. It's not going to be as much as of a factor or a big player as it has been in the past, because our entire world is shifting. So the paradigms of the workaholic and 9 to 5, and as I say this, the time is 1, 2, 3, 4, 12:34. So I know that things are going in sequence. It's shifting out. So the universe is asking you now, what's your passion? What makes you happy? What makes you tick? What would you like to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? I'm shifting out of this 9 to 5, and almost a year ago, I think in May, so a little bit less than a year, but or in March, I should say, I was laid off from a desk job that I had had for 7 years, and I loved it. It was cushy. I loved the people I worked with, but they didn't survive very well after the pandemic. And the last year or so, 2 years that I was there, we were working remotely, which at the time was great. But the more that I think back to that, the more I'm realizing it just wasn't for me. So many things are different. I nanny now for my cousin, which is amazing. And for me, it was really hard because I'm sitting here thinking that, I need to be doing this 9 to 5, and I need to be making so many figures a year and this and that. And my husband said it best, and it's an Albert Einstein quote, and I don't know it verbatim off the top of my head, but it's pretty much, do the work to be of service to somebody, of service to yourself, of service for your passions, whatever it is, but be of service. Don't just go work to work. Like, what's your passion? What makes you drive? What makes you tick? So there's a lot of shifts and changes there, and again, looping back, Mercury is out of retrograde, so now would be the time to start. Normally during Mercury retrograde, you're going inward. You're sitting with past things, whether it be past versions of yourself, exes that have come in. I mentioned in my last video, the inner teenager work. And it's funny because after you've worked through the inner child, no one tells you gotta work through your inner teenager. And she's fucking pissed. So, I'm here just trying to figure out where I go from here and trying to listen to Source, etc. I hope the sun's not glaring me out too much. But yeah, there's a lot of shifts. I know people who are uprooting their whole lives to go on their mission. What makes you tick? This paradigm is dull. It's overdrawn. It's going to cease to exist in the next year or two of the whole 9 to 5 slaving away, etc., because the entire collective is waking up. We're no longer going to be slaves to this government, I don't even want to get into politics, to be honest with you, at all. I don't want to argue anything. I have my own belief systems, and I will share certain things with you here, but I ask everybody to be kind to yourself, to others. This is not, I don't want to promote fear or bashing of any kind, but we are shifting big, and a lot of relationships are shifting. So the Mercury Retrograde, I ask you to just, it's over today, but sit back and kind of reassess things over the next 2 weeks. That this is the time for it, because you get 2 weeks before Mercury starts. That's called the pre-shadow. And the pre-shadow kind of gives you little glimpses of what you'll be dealing with come actual Mercury retrograde. And then the post-shadow is just kind of wrapping things up. So here we are. My little antennae. Sorry, excuse me, it caught my eye in the sunlight. And that's really what they are, their antennae. So we're being asked to shift out of paradigms. What else, Spirit? Like I said, I had taped 2 separate videos yesterday, one of them being over 25 minutes long, and it went kaput. My whole phone went on the fritz. I couldn't download it into the app to get it onto YouTube, all of this jazz. So here we are. All right. This all being said, yes, I hear you. They're saying before I even go into the reading, I need to touch base on this. Again, I ask you to look your eyes to the sky. There is going to be a lot of shifting up there, a lot of things being uncovered. I know, it sounds crazy, but it's not, with all the platforms that we have out there right now. It's making it very, very hard for whoever's trying to cover certain things up to cover them up, because there's so many platforms and so many different observers and people putting their own spin and understanding on things, and people capturing things and putting it out to the masses, and people are starting to connect the dots. So there's a lot more meteors in the sky right now. The chemtrails you're seeing, or the plane trails, are there to mask certain things. So just keep your eyes peeled, because there are going to be close-ups of things that are, it's galactic. So this isn't World War III. World War III is the spiritual war, and we're in it right now. And it goes further than what it really, like, this is galactic. And there are so many things that they have hidden from us, and it's going to be even harder to hide them. I'm talking other planets, life forms, contact of other species, galactically speaking. There's a lot happening. All these conspiracy theories, there are always some truth to them. So just pay attention. Don't, I tell my loved ones, family, friends, however it comes by, that if you're going to fall down certain rabbit holes of conspiracy theories, fall down them, understand, what they stand for, but then think bigger. because here is the conspiracy theories, and then here's the arch that's over the conspiracy theories, and that's where you want to align with. But if you're just now entering understanding what kind of control our government and everything has over us, I'll leave you guys up to your own agendas and own ways of thinking, but do your research, because it's no longer time to wake the sheep. The lions are awake now, and we're waking the other lions up. So there's a lot of shifts and changes here for the collective, and we need to remember, I posted something on my social media account yesterday, and I will touch upon it briefly here, but we need to remember that we volunteered here on Earth. We chose to come here without any memory to relearn what we need to wake others up. Like, our mission here on Earth is huge. And I just ask that if whoever is watching this, if you have that inkling in your gut, you're part of the bigger purpose. We all are. So if you wake up to remembering who you are, the whole game changes. You decided to come here. You chose to come down on Earth. You chose the trials and tribulations you're dealing with. You chose the people that come in and teach you the harsh lessons. You chose the happiness and the goodness, because it all evolves the soul. And that's the bigger part of it all. So I ask you all to sit with yourselves long enough to remember where you've come from. Remember why we're here. It's really important to do so. So, this being said, I was gonna pull out the first deck first, but they're asking me to go with these. These are the right cards. Yesterday, while I was making the video yesterday, the right cards were not in this box, but you guys didn't see that because it deleted itself. So these, this is from a Raven, Phelan, and it's the Messenger Oracle. They're awesome cards. I'm just gonna pull a few for the collective, figure out what we're dealing with, as opposed to normally they go right along with what I've channeled already. You guys do understand that every time I come on here, the messages that I'm receiving or what I'm saying out loud is channeled. So that's why I have to stop sometimes. Let's see, what are we dealing with? Yes. Okay, I knew that was gonna pop out. That always pops out. Okay, we're gonna go with the first three. Respect your boundaries. Boundaries are huge. No is a complete sentence. I ask you to remember that. No, thank you. No is a complete sentence. You don't even need to explain yourself away. If you don't feel comfortable doing something, you don't do it. If people are gonna get upset about it, then that's on them. That's their issue. That's not yours. You're setting your own boundary. There can be a lot of guilt and shame and fear that comes around from setting boundaries, but it's needed, and it's needed in this collective. So make sure you're embracing yourself and embracing and respecting yourself. So respecting the boundaries of yourself and of others. If somebody says no, you back off and you find a different route. Like they said no, they set their boundary, don't push it. The next card I have is Embrace the Dark, and it's number 9, so that shows me, and 9s are normally ends of cycles. So and if you see in the card, there's this little fairy in the background. She's all lit up, and then you have like your Morticia looking character right here. So shadow work. Your dark comes out to show you your light. So if you've been through the thick of things and the nitty gritty, and you have done things or have dealt with things that I like to call cringe moments, like things that you regret in the past, or that you could have done better, those moments that you think back to and you're like, ooh, I shouldn't have done that. I even verbally don't even realize it, and I do it out loud. Like, I'll think of something and I'll be like, ooh, and my husband will look at me, he's like, what, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, just a bad memory. Or something that I feel I could have done better. So shadow work is at the forefront. I'm going to be putting a class together on how to embrace your shadow and how to love it for all that it is, because all those bad, quote unquote, bad decisions you've made, or mistakes that have happened, or people, places, things, whatever you were involved in, they serve purpose. And if you can look at it now without diving fully into your emotions and just see it for what it is, because energy or emotions are energy in motion. So if you can look at it from that point of view, you're golden. And on those cringe moments, what I like to do nowadays is, instead of when I go to do the, oh God, I then stop and I go back into the moment and I try and imagine a way that I could have done it better. Like, if I'm cringing at how it happened, how do I do this better? So it's, it's as easy as imagining a different scenario. And while you're doing that, while you're putting that spin on your different way of dealing with that moment back in the past, when you're putting that spin on it in your brain, you're actually healing the past self. So all of your shadow aspects, all of those cringe moments, all of the things that have, shaped and molded you for who you are, they're not to be swept under the rug. They're to be embraced. They're to be loved fully and totally, without any judgment. And it's hard to get there sometimes. It's hard to be without malice. That's the next card, is be without malice. Not allowing your anger or your upsetness or your judgment on yourself or others to drive the ship, drive your vessel. Like, our body is our vessel, this meat suit that we're in. Please keep in mind, like, one more card, Spirit. Okay, or two. Please keep in mind, as I was going to say, we are all connected. Literally was on the top. Also with trust and magic. So I'll take that out. But also I have reveal your truth that popped out. So this mask right here. It's no longer time for the masks anymore. There are certain things that have happened even in my own past that I have been so vigilant and diligent in. I thought it was correct to tear people's masks off because I saw their truth. They didn't want to share their truth, so I would rip them off for them. Honestly, it caused me more pain than good doing that, but by doing what I did in certain aspects of however scenarios played out, it did serve a greater purpose for me to understand that when I pull someone else's masks off, guess whose mask also gets torn off? Mine. And I wasn't ready in the moment. This certain instance I'm talking about was fueled by anger and hate, and actually not even hate. I'll say fear and being very deeply wounded, and me trying to, rip someone's mask off and show everybody else their truth. And then by that happening, I threw myself under a bus, but also by that happening, I was asked to sit in my shit afterward. And I mean, the universe put me in my shit. So we're asked to reveal the truth to sit with our shadow selves, to sit with the light and the dark. You need both. And that being said, the last card from this deck that I'm going to pull is You Were Born to Create. So here you are. Here's your egg cultivating. It's starting to hatch. The light's starting to shine through. That's kind of where we're at right now. Our light is shining through. It's here. And I was going to pull from another deck, but they're telling me no. So I'm going to leave that where it is. And I'll leave you with something I've stated so many times before and will continue to state. Love yourself through and through. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Make good choices. Love above all, but mainly to you. You need to be able to embrace all aspects of yourself, the light and the dark, to be able to step in fully into your being, into your whole. So that's all I have for you today. So come with me into the shadows. I'm going to be putting a class together on how to embrace your shadow, certain tactics, certain understandings, some of my own past, and then open up the floor to others to share theirs and how to work through it. So here we are, and I hope you all have a wonderful week, and namaste.